it's Claire, and today I want to talk about how to impress an INFP personality type. So a lot of you seem to really like the other video that I posted about the INFP personality type and the qualities of an INFP. So today I just want to go into a little bit more depth about how to impress an INFP if you are dating one, or if you're interested in dating one, or maybe if you just have an INFP in your life and you want to be able to relate to them more and make them more comfortable with you. So in all of these cases, I'm going to give you 11 tips that are going to make your relationship with your INFP so much better. My name is Claire, and this channel is dedicated to helping you find success, happiness, get yourself out of a rut, and level up your life. Go ahead and subscribe now and hit that bell to be notified for future videos. And if you would also like this video, it really does help me out so that this video will get more views and more exposure, and it will help this community to grow a lot more. So my first tip on how to relate or impress an INFP is to ask them questions about themselves. So INFPs often get put in the listener role, and we're really good at that. We actually enjoy listening to other people, we enjoy helping them with their problems, and we don't necessarily feel compelled to talk or open up about our own issues or our own concerns. So a lot of times our relationships might be more of us in that listener role or the helping role. And if you were to actually go out of your way to ask the INFP about how they're feeling, about their own emotions, about their own struggles or things that they're dealing with, it's really going to make an impression on them because they might not be used to that from people. And it's not that they don't like listening, it's just that a lot of times they don't speak up and they don't make it a priority to actually voice their own issues and vent or talk about their own problems. Number 2 is being patient and willing to let the INFP in your life learn to trust you and learn to open up to you. So as I mentioned in the first tip, since a lot of times we do not actively share our own feelings or our own issues with people, you have to be patient and you have to let the INFP really get to know you and make sure that you are trustworthy, and then they will be more than willing to share and express themselves to you. It takes you being understanding of their limitations and of their difficulty in expressing themselves verbally, because it doesn't really come naturally to verbally express ourselves fully, and sometimes we hold back. So instead of being upset or annoyed that we're having trouble, just be very understanding and let us take our time and get to know how we can express ourselves fully to you. The third way to make an impression on an INFP is to appreciate creative endeavors. So this one is a huge one because INFPs are, generally speaking, very creative. We tend to be artists, poets, writers, photographers. We love everything that has to do with creativity and the right brain and everything about expression and beauty and art. So if you were to show some interest in creativity, maybe if you asked about what we like to do or wanted to actually see something specifically that we have created and take the time to really get to know what we like to do, that's going to really, really build trust. So if you can get an INFP to share with you their writing or their poetry or their creative endeavors and actually physically show you and share that moment with them, you're going to really create a strong bond because their creative expression is really coming from their deepest self. It is their true self, their authentic self, and it is the easiest way for them to express themselves. So they're actually sharing their true selves with you, and it's very vulnerable, very bonding. And you might also consider going somewhere creative with them, like an art gallery or a museum, or doing something creative like going to a fun play or a dance performance or anything that has to do with creativity. That's going to really spark their interest. Number 4, be willing to discuss abstract concepts and really interesting topics with the INFP. So INFPs are very imaginative, they're very open-minded, and they love to discuss things that are not widely discussed. So if you can actually be interested, willing, and able to discuss one of these abstract topics with the INFP, they are going to be so excited and they're going to be able to bond with you, because in day-to-day life there are not very many people for the INFP to connect to on these levels. So for example, philosophy or energy or things that are unseen, just really interesting concepts that we can think about, that we can imagine, that we can be creative about. and that don't have fixed answers. They're just possibilities, they're potential. They just spark curiosity. Find a theory, find something interesting, and bring it up with the INFP and ask them how they feel about it. And then you guys can get into a really in-depth conversation, and you can have something of real substance with them, and they're gonna remember that conversation and remember you as being someone who they can connect to on a deeper level than just shallow, like, hey, what's up, how are you? Because that's not going to be a very interesting conversation for the INFP. They really like to have depth and imagination and curiosity in their conversations. Be willing to have fun and be silly with the INFP. So INFPs, generally speaking, have this inner bubbly, childlike self that is really excitable, that is really fun-loving, and just wants to be our inner child and just be ourselves. And if you can relate to that and you're not always going to be this serious person who always has to do things the certain way, you can just let loose with them and just have fun and be yourself. Embrace the moment of having fun, just being silly and laughing. That will totally leave a great impression on the INFP, because once again, a lot of times people are very serious and it's hard for us to connect because we do have that need, we do have that desire to just be fun-loving, and that's not all the time. Obviously, we have our own in-depth philosophical thoughts and ideas and ponderings that we go through, those deep, serious conversations, but on the other hand, we also love to have fun and just be silly and free. Number 6, be expressive with your feelings and be willing to discuss your inner thoughts and your deeper emotions and the depth inside of you. So INFPs, generally speaking, based on my own self and the interactions that I've had with other INFPs, we really don't like the shallow, the basic conversations where we don't know the emotions, we don't know what's really going on inside the other person. Because as I mentioned in the other video about INFPs, we might seem like we are just kind of cool and maybe aloof or unexpressive on the outside, but on the inside we are super emotional. We have so much going on, so many thoughts, so many feelings and reactions. So we want to be able to connect in that way to someone else. So knowing that we're not the only ones who are feeling so deeply, and knowing that the other person is also willing and able to express their emotions, express what's going on, it makes things so much easier on us, because then we feel like we can express ourselves as well. It basically just sets you up for great communication. The 7th way to impress an INFP is to be genuine and to have your own morals and values and beliefs that you hold firmly to. So INFPs tend to have their own value system that they may have adopted from childhood. They may have adopted it through various means. It might not be related to anything else except their own decision of what their morals and values are. And once they have decided on these morals, they're going to stick to them and they're going to be very strict about them. So if you can also display that you have morals and you have values that you stick to, it's going to be super, super refreshing for the INFP, because they can connect to you on that. And they're going to really respect that because they also feel the same way. And so that'll be a great way for you guys to connect. And if you guys can also align in the similar values that you have, that is going to be absolutely amazing. And then going along with that, you really want to be genuine and caring. So if you're a caring person, you're going to connect with the emotional part of the INFP, because we tend to be very caring, we tend to be very emotionally aware and emotionally invested in other people. We really like to know that the person that we're dealing with is also emotionally aware and that they're good people inherently, that they care about others, that they do the right thing, and that they make decisions not only for themselves but for the well-being of others. And they can really tell if you are being truthful or not because of their inherent intuition. And so you really want to be genuine about this. You really actually do want to have these values, and you want to care, and you want to be a good person in order to attract an INFP and gain their trust. Number 8, don't force an INFP into making a decision before they are ready. So INFP is a perceiving type. That means they like to take their time in making decisions. They like to go with the flow. They like to see what happens, see the things that are coming in, and then make a decision once they see all the different options, all the different possibilities. So you have to give them that time in order to process everything and then make a decision at their own pace. If you rush them, you're just going to scare them away. They're going to feel pressured. Their emotions are going to start going all over the place and they won't be able to decide anything, and you're going to actually push them away. So give them that space to make a decision, but all the while you will show them that you're still there, you still support them, and that you're still willing to be there for them. That's going to gain their trust. It's going to show them that you're patient and understanding, and they're really going to appreciate being able to come to a decision on their own time. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to wait forever and that you don't have to somewhat get the ball rolling with them, but that just means make it slower, make it more at ease and understanding. Number 9, a really great way to gain the favor of an INFP is to take them out on adventures, do something fun with them, be outgoing and be social, and just have a lot more of an extroverted vibe about you. And this might not be for every INFP, but in my case, I really like to get out of my comfort zone and be around people who have other skills and other personalities than I do. So for example, my introvert self might be way more prone to just hanging out alone, doing my own thing, painting, maybe texting someone, but not going out of my way to be social. So when there is someone social who is pulling me out to do something fun and go on an adventure or go do something with other people, once I get out there, I'm gonna really appreciate that person for pushing me, really appreciate their social nature and their ability and desire to go out and do something fun, because it can be fun. We just need that extra push. And so if you're that person who can push them and motivate them to go out and do things, then they're really, really going to appreciate that about you. Number 10, be vulnerable around the INFP and let them help you or let them listen to you or care for you in some way. So INFPs, generally speaking, love to care for other people. We're very empathetic. We are very emotionally sensitive. So if you have an issue or if you have a concern or if something is bothering you and you come to us and we're able to help you, even just by listening or even just by being with you or chatting it out, we're going to feel so good because we are able to emotionally connect to you and we're able to help you with something that we are really good at and that we're really in tune with, which is our emotions. So the more that you can be emotionally vulnerable, come to an INFP, tell them about your problems, tell them about something that's bothering you, they're going to have that chance to get to know you and get to know your vulnerable side, and it's just going to make your connection even stronger. So I definitely recommend taking that risk and being vulnerable and expressing yourself emotionally. Number 11, check in with the INFP about anything that might be bothering them, anything that they might be thinking, anything that they need to get off their chest that they might not be able to do. So this is a very, very crucial one because INFPs, as I mentioned before, have trouble sometimes expressing themselves and getting out their emotions. We tend to repress our emotions and keep them inside until they boil over to the point that we get really, really angry or really, really upset or really hurt, and then we blow up and then we don't know how to react and it just goes badly. So if you can make that process easier for the INFP and make them know that you are a safe place for them to express themselves, that if they tell you a concern or if they have an issue or if something happened that they didn't like, you will be very calm and understanding about it. You will be a safe haven for them to express themselves. They're going to appreciate that so, so much because they are afraid to express themselves. They're afraid of your reaction. They're afraid of causing problems, of causing conflict. They don't like conflict. And so if you can make that to where they know that there won't be a conflict, it'll just be you guys working together and coming to a conclusion that suits both of you. They will feel so amazing. They'll be able to express themselves to you, and it'll get easier and easier until it's no longer as big of an issue for them. So that one is really, really important, and that could really help the relationship in terms of having an open forum for communication, asking them what's on their mind in a very calm and assertive way. So for example, if your INFP is quiet and you're not sure what's going on, instead of just blowing it off and expecting that they're going to tell you if something's wrong, you could ask them, you could be like, hey, is everything okay? How are you feeling? And it might take a little bit of prodding. You might have to pull it out of them a little bit. If you can do it in a very peaceful and sweet way, then they'll be able to trust you and they'll be able to open up to you and actually tell you what's going on. All right, everyone. So those are my top tips on how to gain the favor of an INFP in your life, whether that is a relationship, whether that is someone that you want to have a relationship with, or whether it's just a friend. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment below if you have any other tips or ideas on how to connect with an INFP. I always love to read your comments, always fun to connect with you guys. And you can also follow me on Instagram and check out my links below. And then I will see you in my next video. All right, thanks so much, guys. Bye.